So I turned a single smart tax move, one single smart move, tax-wise, into a stronger retirement cash flow. And I'm going to discuss here now how you can position yourself better in 2026 and use these same moves. Now, if you're in your 50s, 60s, or even if you're pushing 70, maybe, and it feels like retirement maybe is sneaking up a little bit faster than your savings are growing, uh, well, I want to take a deep breath. You're in good company. Okay? Breathe easy, my friend. I still remember the day around age 55 or thereabouts when I finally opened my statements. I've been addressing this for a while, kind of off and on, but I finally sat down and looked at my statements. Okay, and I did the math, the actual math, and the numbers were not terrible, thankfully. They weren't where I wanted them to be either. So actually, I mean, I'd spent decades grinding away at life, at work, raising a family, handling my business, emergencies, and all of those things. But tax planning, yeah, that had always taken a back seat. That realization hit me hard, though, when I actually sat down and looked at the numbers in a very hard manner, right? Okay, it felt like lost time then. But here's what I learned. Even starting later, smaller moves, deliberate moves like Roth conversions can still shift the trajectory in a big way. So today I'm going to be talking about one of the more underused tools for late starters, and that is converting traditional IRA funds to a Roth IRA. Now, this is not a magical thing, but it's just very straightforward, done thoughtfully. This can build tax-free growth, tax-free, okay, and gives you real flexibility when you need it most. Now, this is not a flashy advice or something that you haven't heard of before, right? It's practical, numbers-driven strategy to lower your future tax burden so more of your money stays yours, okay? Or better yet, grows, okay, tax-free to support passive income layers that you're going to be adding in there down the road, okay? So let's break this down step by step for 2026. Okay, now, first of all, let's cover the fundamentals of a Roth conversion, okay? What you're doing is you're taking money that's sitting in a traditional IRA, pre-tax dollars, and then you move it to a Roth IRA, okay? You pay ordinary income tax on the converted amount in the year you do it. In exchange, everything in the Roth grows tax-free, okay, tax-free. And qualified withdrawals after age 59 and a half, and also after the account has been open for 5 years, come out completely tax-free. No strings. Okay, and the best part for retirees is that there's no required minimum distributions during your lifetime. Your money can keep compounding, or you can pass it on to heirs, okay, with potentially better tax treatment. So why does this matter more now for folks over 50? Well, because many of us are heading into years where taxable income could spike, right? From Social Security, pensions, required minimum distributions, okay, starting at 73 or maybe 75 for those born later, okay, or just required withdrawals you don't even want. Now, converting ahead of time lets you pay taxes at potentially lower current rates. So in 2026 specifically, things are lining up nicely for strategic conversions. The IRA contribution limit is $7,500 base with an $1,100 catch-up for 50 plus, okay, totaling $8,600 if you're eligible. Now that's extra room to build on before or after converting, okay? And tax brackets remain relatively favorable post recent legislation extensions. Now, key point one, timing is everything. Okay, pick low income years, all right? The sweet spot is often right before Social Security begins or in early semi-retirement when your earned income drops, but you still have control. Okay, if your current marginal bracket is 22 or 24%, and you expect 32% or higher later due to required minimum distributions, well, then converting now saves you money long term. Now, for married filing jointly in 2026, you can fill brackets thoughtfully. Stay under the thresholds that trigger higher rates or phase-outs. For example, suppose your taxable income before conversion is around $100,000 as a couple. You might have room to convert $50,000 to $80,000 without jumping brackets dramatically. Run the scenarios carefully, more on that in a little bit. Key point number 2, use the conversion ladder approach to keep control. In other words, don't do one massive conversion that pushes you into the 32 or 35% bracket and maybe even hits net investment income tax thresholds right over $250,000 maximum adjusted gross income for couples. Instead, convert smaller amounts annually, enough to top off your current lower bracket. Okay, say you aim for the top of the 24% bracket each year. Over 5 to 10 years, you build a ladder of converted dollars. Okay, so each portion has its own 5-year clock for earnings to be tax-free. But the principal you converted can be accessed penalty-free anytime after conversion if you're over 59.5. So this strategy smooths taxes and gives you tax-free buckets to draw from in different years. This is great for managing healthcare costs or bridging to Social Security. So key point number 3. Understand all the ripple effects on taxes and benefits. The converted amount adds to your ordinary income that year. So this can bump up Medicare Part B and D premiums 2 years later via IRMAA surcharges. Now, it might make more of your Social Security taxable. So if you're on ACA marketplace coverage, it could reduce subsidies. State taxes vary too. Some states don't tax retirement income the same way. So the bottom line is model it properly. Okay, pull up the time value of money calculator. There's a link down below to the calculator that I like to use. Plug in your current bracket, expected growth, maybe 6 to 7% average, inflation at 2 to 3%, and projected future brackets. Compare total after-tax value versus without conversion. It's eye-opening. Key point number 4, required minimum distribution avoidance and legacy benefits. Let's cover that. So current rules have required minimum distributions kicking in at 73 for most, 75 for newer cohorts, okay? Those forced withdrawals are taxed as ordinary income, even if you don't spend them, okay? They can push you into higher brackets, increase Medicare costs, or trigger other taxes. Okay, so by shrinking your traditional IRA balance through conversions, you cut future required minimum distribution size. Now, that leaves more money growing tax-free in the Roth, either for your spending, or your heirs, who might inherit it with no income tax on distributions if rules hold. So key point number 5, realistic expectations, pitfalls, and due diligence. Okay? This strategy has created real resilience for many late starters I've known or advised informally. Okay? More tax-free income, less forced selling in down markets, better control. But it's not one size fits all. Market volatility, expected health expenses, changes in tax law, or your personal cash flow can change the equation. Everyone's picture is different. State taxes, okay, your health outlook, family needs. So it's wise to sit down with a qualified tax advisor or a certified financial professional, okay, who knows your full situation before making moves, of course, right? Looking back, I wish I'd started laddering conversions in my early 50s, right? A few extra years of tax-free compounding would have added up nicely. But even beginning mid-50s made a difference, okay, enough to feel like I would claim some control. So if you're in that spot now, you absolutely can do the same thing. So tie this to passive income in 2026. All right, mortgage rates are holding in the mid 6% range at this point. Forecast from Fannie Mae, MBA, and NAR, right, point to averages around 6 to 6.4, right, for the year, with some gradual easing possible. That's keeping seller finance notes attractive, often yielding 8 to 12% secured by real estate. Foreclosure activity remains elevated, up 26 to 32% in recent trends. So more private note sellers are open to partial sales or full transfers. Buying or brokering small notes, $5,000 and up, say, inside a Roth, lets those higher yields compound tax-free. A powerful layer on top of traditional investments. So imagine converting strategically, then allocating matured funds or new contributions into secured notes. Reinvest payments for compounding, all tax deferred or free. It's not risk-free. A due diligence on collateral, borrower title is essential, of course, but it's a realistic way late starters can build resilient cash flow. If any of this clicks, I've got resources to help you explore these things further. There's a link down below to my site that walks you through passive income basics, including note layering. For targeted lists of note opportunities, check out our link down below to those. So if brokering appeals, earning fees with other people's capital, take a look at noteinvestors.com broker opportunity. There's a link down below for that. And I'm actively building Note Investing Formulas, a structured program with formulas, checklists, and real-world examples that I'm going to be sharing more as this comes together. So thank you very much for spending this time with me. If you're thinking about conversions in 2026, drop a comment below. What's your biggest hesitation or question? Hit like if this helped. Subscribe for more catch-up strategies tailored to late starters, and I'm going to be seeing you soon in the next one. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.